One of the things I teach here at George Fox University is the Gospel of John. The Gospel of John is an amazing piece of writing. It's a classic piece of writing in that people have come back to it again and again throughout the ages. A lot of people will see John 3:16 put up at a football game and think that they understand the Gospel of John. But the Gospel of John is more than simply God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son. The Gospel of John also has many riddles to it. So Jesus in John is the most divine in the New Testament, but it's also the most human presentation of Jesus in the New Testament. So how do those two tensions come to play within the Gospel of John? Jesus also is equal to the Father, but then he's subordinate to the Father. How can he do only what the Father tells him to say and do, but then also say, I and the Father are one. If you've seen me, you've seen the Father. How about John's miracles? They're high and embellished. On the other hand, blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe in me. These are some of the Christological tensions that just come up in the Gospel of John for any reader of the Bible. And you have to think about, where did those tensions come from? What do they say about how the material came together? Well, John has other kinds of riddles too. Literary riddles, historical riddles, as well as theological ones. Why is John so different from Matthew, Mark, and Luke? In the Gospel of John, Jesus cleanses the temple at the beginning of his ministry. In Matthew, Mark, and Luke, it's at the end. In the Synoptics, Jesus speaks in parables about the kingdom of God. In John, Jesus has no parables. He speaks about himself using I am language and uses metaphors that are in the Synoptics, but John's Jesus is very different from his presentation in the other Gospels. So one of the things I've been also working on is John's relation to the Jesus of history, as well as the Christ of faith. In my most recent book on John, Riddles of the Fourth Gospel, one of the things that I do in this book is to outline 36 sets of riddles, historical, theological, literary, and just to put the texts out there side by side. I have my students look up the Bible passages, and then I ask them, what do you think about that? Where did this stuff come from? And then what does it mean to us? I also then look at theories of other scholars and help students do an analysis. What's strong and what's not so strong. Then from there we interpret the material and ask, how does this relate to our lives? How does this relate to Christian theology, as well as an understanding of the Jesus of history?